Alright, so we're kicking off the morning, trying to track down the elusive midrange deck here in Pioneer. I'm told of a different time in Magic the Gathering where there was an archetype that existed somewhere in the middle between aggro and control. We have Sylvan Advocate here to apply pressure, some Questing Beasts and some Kalitas at the top of the curve, and then, miscellaneous card advantage things that are a little bit better than 1-for-1. We got some Thoughtseizes, we got some Fatal Pushes. I'm ready to get inverted a couple of times and be sad. Let's go ahead and pop out into a league here with this one and see how it goes. Pandemic work from home means that Twitch isn't blocked anymore. Thanks for the biddies, Drowning Cow Live. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Even Trump's admin is pushing for some form of UBI, which would be good. A lot of people are going to need that before long. Rodzilla, thanks for the 3rd of year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Nerf Blaster, thanks for the 2 months. Yeah, I agree, Percy. It's like, well, I had a little bit of optimism that, like, at some point, if it wasn't going to be Bernie, we could, like, get Pete or Klobuchar. And then, like, the moderates decided to pick their absolute worst candidate. So, here we are. Just had an earthquake in Utah, shook my 110-year-old house. Stay safe out there. Lebo, good morning. It's a good start. Let's see. I mean, this deck has a lot of cheap interaction in it. The deck we're currently playing might be a deck that can actually win this matchup. This matchup is notoriously hard. That one. Oh, that's sick. So they're playing this out so they can play Emery this turn too. Which means that, oh, Ghost Fireblade next turn. Gross. Good morning.
Overwatch.
You want to play Overwatch? Uh-huh. I told you we can play Overwatch tonight after I'm done working.
I want to play Overwatch with you. I want to play with one of my uncles.
Oh, you don't want to play with me? You want to play with one of your uncles?
Uncle.
I am just chopped liver, huh?
I want to play Uncle Mike.
Okay, well, I mean, you could go ask Mommy to set it up with Uncle Mike. The computer and stuff is upstairs.
Well, Mommy doesn't know how to set it up.
She does.
No, her doesn't remember. Her doesn't remember. Her told me. Well,
how's Pioneer felt? Playing good decks in Pioneer has felt fine. Playing Brews in Tier 2 decks has felt awful. Yeah, I probably forgot to check the list of them. Yeah, I totally just didn't bump anything. Totally just didn't bump anything on the list. I'll get done after the stream's done today. Well, he did want me to set up Overwatch on the computer for him. So he needed to use me for something. Can you play Agent of Treachery? I mean, you can. I think you're worse off. I think you're worse off putting Agent of Treachery in your deck, though, than just like... I think if you want to be playing Agent of Treachery, you should not be playing Yarok Field. You should be playing, like, one of the Golos Field variations, if I'm being honest. The appeal to the Yarok deck is that it's supposed to be lower to the ground and more efficient. And if you're going big, and there's nothing wrong with going big if you want to go over the top of other Field of the Dead decks. But I don't think Yarok Field is the appropriate shell for doing that in. Looking like I'm going to continue to never beat this blue-red scissors deck on stream. I am Pterodactyl. Thank you for the 28 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Super D-duper dead. Extra trophy, couple of languishes. Things don't really get that much better for us here post-board. We have some okay interaction game one, but a lot of our stuff is pretty slow. Pretty slow and clunky. Has anyone tried Bantscape Shift and Historic? I mean, generically speaking, almost assuredly, some amount of people have tried it. Have we played it on stream? No. We are now in match 1, game 2, yes. We've been live for 7 minutes. Excuse me? Sure, that's completely reasonable and beatable. Yeah, that's definitely a card that we could beat, no problem, no questions asked. So I'm going to play Caryatid here, so that way next turn I can Thoughtseize plus Rider. But I guess whatever you or one permanent you control, so like, I'm going to take 4 to cast each of these. I mean, alright, I guess. Thank you, sir. May I have another? I mean, we're just like super dead, right? Just can never win. Might be another quick Pioneer day. We played 3 historic decks again. That might be a thing. All right, so after this deck, there's 1, 2, 3 more bad Pioneer decks in the queue. So after next week, we'll probably next week or the week after, we got like 1 more week, maybe 2 tops of bad Pioneer decks. And then, I think if we don't get any Pioneer submissions, I'll probably do 1 League a week. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a deck I'll find that we like, but there's been almost no submissions for this format in recent months, recent weeks, so a lot of almost. So based on the decks that are currently in the queue, the most recent Pioneer submission. Oh, I took one 2 days ago because someone didn't know I was changing the sub policy. So other than the one I just took for $30, The other one, we haven't had one since February 10th, so it's been over a month. Yeah. If people don't want to submit Pioneer decks for $50, I'm just going to play less of the format. Historic's getting more views. I enjoy playing Historic more. So, my plan is to eventually do more Magic Arena and less Magic Online. The client's faster. It's better to look at. I think if we don't get submissions, period, I'm still going to do, I don't know, 1 or 2 Moto decks per week just to get a little bit of variety in, but I don't plan to do it every day. Moto's more tolerable when it's just like sparingly and not something that I have to wake up and do every day. When it's something special and not the norm, it's like, oh, this is novel, so slogging through the client is less of a chore. Some classic ramp, eh? I think I just take the Ugin here. Like, their deck has so much mana in it, so like, I could like theoretically take the Hour Promise to like slow them down, but the odds they don't draw other ramp spells is like incredibly low. So I want to just like take their payoff that I can never beat, I think. Sounds good, Psycho. I'll take a peek at that after the stream today. Still gonna be a little bit. I don't think that's strictly true, Spooky. Like, this format didn't become worse because it was a tournament format. Like, Pioneer has always had a bunch of tournaments right from the start because Magic Online's a format that supports lots of tournament play. Like, Pioneer ended up in a dumpster fire because changes happened to the format and Wizards didn't respond accordingly, in my opinion. Yes. Yeah, there's nothing to do with it being a tournament format. It has everything to do with new cards that were added and a lack of management past that. They have Unexpected Results and Walking Ballista in their deck. Well, they deserve that. Enjoy your Walking Ballista. That's just good deck building right there. Good, clean deck building. That was certainly an unexpected result. Yeah, I agree. The fact that they unsuspended Field of the Dead in Historic makes me really excited for the potential of that format, because that alone means it's being handled differently than how formats like that have been handled in the past. One of my many critiques of Modern and Pioneer now are not only that I disagree with what cards they ban, but I also disagree with, because of what they're not banning, they're also not unbanning enough. So the fact that like they saw fit to unban already, unsuspend, whatever the vernacular you want to use is, in Pioneer or in Historic, makes me incredibly hopeful that we could get something reasonable out of this altogether. And I'm saying that your feelings are based on not facts. In your spooky moblin, so you're equating correlation with causation. What you're doing is what we would refer to mathematically as wet sidewalks cause rain. Does that make sense? So like when it's raining, the sidewalks are wet, but that doesn't mean because the sidewalks are wet, it causes it to rain. That's what you're doing. You're correlating things that shouldn't be correlated. You're correlating things that there's no relevant information to validate that these things are related to each other. You're just going with your feels because it pushes a narrative that you want to push personally. I would estimate that rather than blaming it being a tournament format or lack thereof, Historic currently feels fresher, 1, because it's in flux, and 2, because they're taking chances with unbanning things as well as just banning them. Those are the key differences in my expert opinion. Finally hit the 12-month mark. Only took me 3 years or so. Well, thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the prime, no boss. Look at that. That's how Midrange beats a ramp deck. They draw actual nothing and then they die. It's a true battle of skill my opponent and I executed there. Could almost assuredly guarantee the better player won. I don't know if this is a Lost Legacy matchup. They probably have a pretty diverse range of threats. I don't think that's strictly true. I think people correlating Historic with tournament play are casual players projecting their own feelings onto something that they see that they feel can take their projection onto. Jinx, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Sprada, thanks for the 7 months. The other flip side of that too, to really show that you're projecting, if you don't have data, you don't know that the format's not homogeneous. You don't know that the format's not a bunch of similar decks to each other because you don't have information to look at. Pithing Needle for Ugin's a good suggestion. If we get a game 3, we'll do that for sure. We played an Abzan field deck yesterday that played Dread Presence and Dryad. It was okay. Yep. I understand why they don't auto-renew Prime, though, because, like, Amazon doesn't want to be paying people Prime subs from people who aren't actually watching their content. Alright, and then we're crossing our fingers again here and hoping this discard spell takes their only threat, and then crossing our fingers again and hoping they just never draw another threat. So the reason why we won the last game was because we took their only threat and they never drew another, so here's hoping we can repeat that. We have Questerson here, which is going to close out relatively quickly. Hey, Thoughtseize is not bad. Our promise is scary. You like Crowing Thought-Knot Seer in this style of deck? That's really not free. You take a good bit of damage from your lands to play 4 Land War Waste and 4 Hepshed Oasis. So, I think we just play Questerson here. Hey, Garrick, thanks for 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So they have no cards in hand. Again, just like hoping they do nothing and eventually die. If they do anything, we probably lose. Yeah, if this card's in Amonkhet Remastered, it'll definitely be a format staple in what's it called? The Yarok deck's fun just because, like, it has a lot of play to it. Also, I think there's an argument, like, there's probably an argument that, like, I guess this gets Field of the Dead. I don't know. 4 mana versus 5 is a big deal. Like, it's not a strict free roll to play this over, what's it called? That other card that they play, the 4 mana one. Yeah, Circuitous Root. That's the one. Hey, one more brick. Take me down to Brick City where the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Won't you please take me home? Oh, yeah. Oh, they're totally about to Ugin me. That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, the trophy is totally lethal. We were talking and BSing. I don't think it matters. I have 2 creature lands. So I have 2 lethal creature lands I get to fire up next turn. Yeah, Ugin's not good enough here, actually, which is funny. Miss lethal. God, thank goodness this is a no justice stream. Nah, tutoring for lands is too slow and clunky. You need cards that impact the board. We did. We're on the scoreboard, chat. All right, we can solidly stamp exceeds expectations on this deck. You could even argue that, like, the opponent's deck got to draw a threat and we still won, right? That, like, really exceeds expectations. I didn't think we were going to be able to... keep up, but we did. There's an update tomorrow. Is there an arena patch tomorrow? Breeding pool, eh? Did we beat Tron or did Tron beat itself? Well, you know. Criticizing Joe Biden has really been a solid reminder that it's not just Republicans, but just humans in general that are disconnected from reality. I actually just had someone on Twitter try to say that it wasn't boomers who largely nominated Joe Biden, which is an impressive take devoid from the reality of the data that actually exists. Like, I don't, like, if you support Joe, like, that's fine. Like, Joe's not like, a racist and a bigot, so like, sure, I could just disagree with you on policy, but like, don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself about what the actual data of the situation says. Like, be realistic. I think I just do this and kill the Mausoleum Wanderer. I actually retweeted that this morning, Spreda. There's a group that put together side-by-side comparisons with the date stamps of all the different Fox News personalities downplaying COVID a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, and then within the last 3 to 5 days taking it seriously. It is incredibly disturbing. Fox News should not be allowed to continue broadcasting. I feel like our opponent's probably quite the comedian, but their joke seems to be going over our head at the moment. I'll go ahead and trophy this eagle now. Well, I still have 3 mana up, and then we'll play Tireless Tracker here, so we can draw this Fatal Push next turn. Boy, Toy Troy, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Freedom of speech. No, it doesn't. If someone goes into a crowded movie theater and starts yelling fire, they'll be arrested. What Fox News personalities did surrounding COVID-19 information with their disinformation and outright lies endangered public health. It is going to result in more people dying and getting sick because of the misinformation that they spread. They are going to be responsible for people dying. They should be sued into oblivion. They should not be allowed to continue broadcasting. At the very least, every one of their personalities that pushed incorrect information intentionally, they should be removed. I need to get off the time. Someone please stop the timeline. I need to get off. Someone, can anybody please hold the timeline? I need Chase Clark, thanks for the 13 months, I guess. Welcome back. I do appreciate it. Meanwhile, I'm losing this game. Just hanging out over here. Dying to spirits. If the timeline train still hasn't left the station, I would like to take a ticket to the timeline where Al Gore won the 2000 election. Is that an option? And we addressed climate change, and then this didn't happen because we addressed climate change. Is there a one-way ticket to that timeline? I would like a one-way ticket to that timeline, please. Oh, it's so sad. Timeline where we're just like hitting each other with sticks like cavemen. Oh, that one might be decent too. All right. Nissa's definitely too slow here. Thanks for the 7 months, Beard Baby Beard. I think I'm supposed to cut some of this top end tier. Expensive cards like this that aren't removal tend to be bad against Spell Queller. I think is my plan. Definitely trimming the Kalitas. I'm going to trim a couple of Sylvan Caryatids here. Whoa. Alright. There are giants above me. Alright, Hand's missing its second black source, but it's got 3 good spells. I never updated the Stream Decker. Gosh, we've been live for 30 minutes and nobody cared enough to actually look at this deck list. What is Pioneer? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. I think it's right to just take their 2 for 1. Historic waiting room. Was Coco a good limited card back in the day? I have no idea. It was standard playable, though. I come for the Trump jokes, the singing. What is Pioneer? Good. Yeah, anybody who's encouraging people to still go out at this point is irresponsible. You should not be encouraging people to go out still with what is currently going on in the world. If you are worried for your ability to provide, you should be calling and constantly messaging your congressional representatives, especially if you live in a state that has a Republican representative. You need to make them understand that this is what the American people need and want. Okay, so we do this. We take the eagle. We plus this. We decay this. Liliana might drag us through here. So, the current standard format did what standard always does, which is that it solidified as the format matured, Jet. And then as the format matured and good decks got pushed to the forefront, the decks that have ended up being good in this standard format are decks that all involve Brazen Borrower and Teferi Time Raveler for the most part. So like the gameplay experience is like getting pseudo comboed and just getting constantly tempoed. Those are like your two options. And like the types of decks that are being successful that aren't playing Brazen Borrower or Teferi are almost all playing Embercleave. I saw something today about Wick products being wiped out and Wick doesn't allow substitutions. Yeah. Yep. The Trump admin also plans to kick a bunch of people off of Wick and food stamps and other food subsidies like that still because they're awful and they're inhumane. Yeah, I forgot to look at my list of... I forgot to apply shillings bumps yesterday, Pomoyne. They'll go in today when I'm done. Croakies put Cleave in the Reclamation deck. God bless. I think I have to mulligan this. Like, this hand has lands and spells, but, like, just playing a bunch of creatures is not going to win in this matchup. I need Thoughtseizes and removal spells. Alright, I mean, like, all things considered, this hand does the things I need to do if we draw a land, so, you know, let's do it. Yes, yeah, one of the less obnoxious things, less racist things about Trump that really shows you a lot about the people that support him is growing up, like, Trump does all of the things your boomer parents told you as a child you shouldn't do to other kids in school because that's what bullies do. Like, the people that support Trump, they're literally supporting everything that they explicitly told their children not to do growing up. Lost, it's just an incredible amount of respect for adults that I thought were reasonable, decent human beings and their support of that man. And not even just because of the overtly bigoted and racist things he does, even just down to the little core details of his being are awful and terrible. Brutal Collective, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's rather abrupt mulligan, something like that. Just gonna go ahead and kill this now. If they're playing on a naked Spellcaller, they probably have more of them. So let's just like get my 1-for-1 in. Yeah, I agree, Jinx. I think there's a lot of people out there that want to be awful and terrible to other humans, like Trump is awful and terrible to other humans, but they know that society will rightfully shun them if they're awful and terrible to other people. So they're living vicariously through Trump being terrible and awful to other human beings. Please don't have another Rattlechains. Please don't have another Rattlechains. So, do I kill their lord or do I kill... Is it crazy to kill this here? I feel like I'm supposed to kill the sailor here because they're out of cards. So, like, the sailor's going to provide them more cards if they brick a little bit. Dr. Lawson, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I mean, I'll tell you what changed your mind, Mask. Go look at the video on my Twitter timeline that highlights what the Fox News pundits were saying a week and a half ago versus what they're saying now. Fox News did a complete 180. So people that drink that up as gospel are likely to change as well, which is a good thing that they're finally coming around. Hopefully it's quick enough. All right. I mean, like, all things considered, as we have been known to say on this channel, God bless the London mulligan, right? Like, we mulliganed before this game and kept land triple removal spell, hit our second land, and now, like, are actually playing a game of Magic here. Spectral Sailor's very scary. This is a piece of card advantage that's going to allow them to get back into this game, potentially. Questerson does close relatively quickly. You're not wrong. So fingers crossed you're open. Like an X spell? Oh, they're just drawing a card? Sure. If we didn't have Trump where some only chat, what would our off-topic discussion be? I don't know. If we didn't have Trump, there'd probably be a lot of happy things to talk about. Yeah, Questerson plus lifelink on the rider here means we probably race. Maybe food. I don't know that I really want to talk about food right now. I can't. The one thing the coronavirus changed about my everyday life, Jazz, is I can't get takeout anymore. It's forced me to eat at home like a reasonable human being. I think I'm only attacking with this because if they flashed in a Lord, they would get to eat my 2/3. You're buying more takeout during the virus to support places we like. You are putting yourself at a risk buying takeout. Do you know how many people are handling those things? If you want to support local businesses, buy gift cards and use them after the fact. I know places are still doing takeout. You should not be going out of your house to get takeout. If your goal is to support local businesses, buy gift cards and use them after the fact. People preparing your food could be asymptomatic and have COVID. That is why this is such a big deal. People who have this can be asymptomatic. That is the thing you really need to understand. Sure, get grocery stores, cooking it yourself, cleaning package when you get home. I'm talking about takeout. I'm talking about prepared food. This explicit topic we were talking about, for those coming in halfway, we were talking about takeout food. Yes, buying food encourages them to keep sending their employees in this. And look, I know that people need money to live. You should be pressuring your state and local representatives to pass some type of UBI. That is the responsible thing to be doing at this point in time. So I think we're languishing here, huh? I think we're gonna attack with both of these and then languish. Did you know that even if you personally aren't in a high risk category, if you get COVID, it could cause long-lasting damage to your body, even if you're not in a risk category from literally dying to it. So we're hoping their last card's a blank here. If their last card's a blank, I get my Caryatid back, and it'll be great. What do you do when your senators are McConnell and Ron Paul? You should call them still. In fact, I would argue if you have Republican senators, it's more important that you're calling and emailing them right now, letting them know what you need, because they're the ones less likely to do it. I don't have a link offhand. I'd encourage you to Google it. Look up post-viral syndrome. Look at that specific term. Doke. Are we about to squeak one out, chat? Are we about to be 2-1? Is this the mid-range of myth and legend? Have we found the mid-range deck of myth and legend? Do 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 do. All right, chat. Are we gonna play a whole league? That's exciting. Did we not just set? We're getting at least $5 back. That's super great. Hey, Animane, thanks for re-upping that Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You can't talk like that while I'm drinking my coffee. My mother-in-law tested positive, so I've been quarantining. I'm still ordering delivery, so I do, but I had them drop the food at the police union station next door. I wouldn't be, I'm not ordering delivery or takeout at all during all of this. Encouraging people to be out and working, encouraging people to be preparing your food, who again, even if they're taking good measures, they could be asymptomatic and have it and not know and be passing it on to you through the food they're preparing for you. That is the reality. That is why this is so important that you should be staying at home if any activity isn't actually required of you to go do. No, there's no delay for the Saturday thing, Chef Seth. It's a charity tournament. Charity stream thing. As for what deck I'm planning to try something. Tomorrow and Friday are going to be Pioneer decks that I pick out. And my viewing numbers increase at all? No, my metrics have been almost identical. What's going on Saturday? Saturday, Todd Anderson and a couple of other folks have organized a charity stream encouraging people who can afford to in these times to donate to relief funds for people who are out of work because of all the things going on. And myself and I think a dozen other people or so are playing in it. Came up with a bad analogy for Bernie politics. He wants to abolish the mythic ladder and give more wild cards to the bronze and silver ranks. I don't know about that one. I think your bad analogy is pretty on point there. This is what that is. G Wright, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for keeping me around. Am I considering the Teamer deck? Nah, I don't think so. I was looking at that deck and it's basically just a ramp deck, and I don't really want to play a ramp deck. I did not finish the last couple weeks of the dungeon. So this... Still 1 land away from powering up Sylvan Advocate. I don't know that I like Caryatid in this deck. It's weird having a ramp spell that doesn't make this hit faster. Do you not understand, Jazlit, that they can look at the damage done to someone's body and then compare it based on other things that have happened like this, based on what people's ability is to recover from that? And again, if you're just looking for reasons to justify you endangering yourself and others, you don't need, like, fuck off. Like, you are endangering people by going out of your house. You are being inconsiderate at best. At best, you are being inconsiderate. At worst, you're literally killing people. You don't need studies where the damage is visible and permanent. Correct. So, you know, maybe your girlfriend's not as bright as you think. Criminally negligent. That's a good way to put it. Good phrasing. I like that phrasing. Criminally negligent. All right, let's kill old Spell Queller here, shall we? Nice, Stevenson. Yeah, I decided not to do the whole fusion. I don't think. Watched Legend of the Keeper with my wife on YouTube last night. Enjoyed it. Thanks, Ewok. Yeah, game was fun. I need to finish the dungeon out and see what happens at the end of the 52 weeks. What are my thoughts on Season 3 of the Sabrina Weaver? Season 3 got weird. I don't know that it was bad, but it definitely got weird. So if they have another blocker here, they could flash in another blocker and then sack the Selfless Spirit and fog 2 of my creatures. Oh, are they going to double? Wait, what? Why didn't they? Oh, I'm just dead on board, right? No, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're just trying to draw a Lord and kill me on the backswing? Feels bad, man. We were really close. Hey, Frozen Sky, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Hey, and again, just like as we just played this matchup, we're just going to board in a bunch of cheap removal spells. Going to board out some of our clunkier threats. Also, like, again, as Magic players, like, let's take the game theory optimal approach. Like, I feel like more people would get better results if they looked at things from game theory optimal approaches. But let's say the experts that have said it looks like there can be lasting damage to your body from getting COVID, even if you're in a group that doesn't die from it, most likely. So the downside is you have lasting damage to your body that makes it difficult for you to live and more susceptible to future diseases. The upside is you get to eat takeout. So your game theory play is it's worth getting to eat takeout at the cost of risking other people have that happen to them and that could happen to you. Seems like a extremely extremely huge downside for the most minimal of payoffs. If you approach more things in life from a this is what I'm gaining versus this is what could happen perspective, it's a lot easier to weed out the decisions that like, that probably just doesn't make sense to do. Yes, yeah, also people who are like, oh, I'm not likely to die from it, so it's not a big deal, I'm just gonna go live my life. It's just like, you know, something that we said a couple of times is, you know, how people act during a time like this really gives you insight into who they really are as a person versus who they pretend to be, so society will accept and not reject them. There's another good meme. Your grandparents were called to die in literal warfare. You're being called to sit on your couch. You can do this. You sound like my therapist. Good. It's probably a good thing. Blaria, thanks for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm a professional chair sitter too. Actually, no. Sometimes I'm a professional desk stander. Listen, chat. As someone who frequently had takeout a double-digit number of times per week before all of this, I promise you too can survive without takeout. Do the right thing. Order groceries. Get your groceries. Eat at home. You have to get food. You shouldn't feel bad getting groceries. In fact, ordering groceries for delivery or for pickup at the store reduces your traffic inside the store itself. We don't know long-term effects from those who recover from COVID. Talking about what looks like long-term damage is based on the fact that they can look at the inside of people's bodies who have had it and seem to be recovered and look at damage that looks like it's going to be permanent based on what things they've seen in the past. What they know the human body is likely to recover from or not. Well, that's unfortunate. So, like, you're right. We definitely don't know the full long-term impacts on people who are going to be recovering. But we can estimate long-term damage based on looking at other long-term damage from other things, historically speaking. This is the first time we've had an actual crisis like this in the world of social media, Steam Flogger Boss. Curious Obsession. Okay, so that's like their source of card advantage since it doesn't look like they're playing green. They're playing like Ojutai's Command and stuff. If we hit a land next turn, these advocates race them very quickly, which would be great. So, like, that feels bad, but it also doesn't. No, all of my viewer metrics have actually remained approximately the same. I think there's, I would bet Twitch as a whole is up, but there's also more people streaming right now. So like all my averages have about stayed the same. More demand, but more supply. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. It's looking like we're going to get him here. I'll have to try and win a game 3 on the draw. Bob Ross is streaming. Something like that. Ireland is closing bars. Here's what you need to understand. Republicans want to give normal people money for not doing anything, and Ireland is closing their bars out of safety concerns for their people. So those are all you need to know about how seriously you should be taking this. Ireland is closing bars, and Republicans want to give you money. This is not a joke. Hopefully this Mutavault doesn't kill us. I mean, to be fair, Space Herring, I think I'd rather deal with the current pandemic we're in than, like, a zombie apocalypse. If you made me choose, I'd take current state over zombie apocalypse. Bennett, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Sick. It's a good draw. Coffees for closers. And Questerson's going to get himself a cup of joe here. Feels Magic 2019, man. As insulin-dependent diabetic, as soon as the zombie apocalypse hits, I'm joining Team Zombie. You're not the only one. All right, I think we're gonna be too far behind in this race. So they have one card left in hand at the moment. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Hello, Declan Scott. How are you doing? What's up, dude, man?
Overwatch.
Overwatch? Mom didn't set it up for you?
Yeah. That's why I want you to set it up.
I promise you your mom can set it up.
Well, her's not doing it. Her's on a meeting.
Oh, well, you need to be a good waiter and wait for her to be done with her meeting, okay? You got to be an extra good patient waiter during spring break, okay?
Set it up, set it up.
Thanks. Thanks for tooting on me. I'm glad you think it's funny. Feels magic, man. Last card, Double Gas Herald, untap, draw Lord for lethal. Razor thin margins in games 1 and 3 there. Just needed like one more turn to break our way. Let's get that homemade burrito, something like that. I think Christy's making chili for tonight. For dinner. It's decent on the play. Missed the white splash for Shambling Vent. Yeah! Creature lands that gain life are busted. Your company still wants you to fly down to the States in 6 days. That might not be possible. Hey, good games, Dr. Kitty. Good luck in the rest of your league. Was razor thin in games 1 and 3 there. What do I eat when she makes chili? She makes meatless chili. Guano Maestro, thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I am a vegetarian for the last 12 years or so. Let's get Yorvo out of here. Let's get Sylvan Advocate down. Hitting our first 6 lands here consistently is great. Hey, thanks for re-upping that Prime support, Deebs. I wouldn't be here dining out without folks like you dropping that off. Hopefully this clue we have in play here can help us. Hoping to draw another Decay Trophy or Murderous Rider here. Perfect. I do not eat fish. I eat dairy. I'm not a vegan. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of real world impact from COVID. Again, you should be contacting your congressional and state representatives if you live in the United States and pressuring them to get legislation passed that resembles universal basic income. That is what's going to be necessary for a lot of people to survive during this time, while still being able to do what's right and not leave their homes. It is especially important that you contact them if you live in a largely Republican district, to let those people know that their constituents need and want it as well. Yeah, casual 6/6 Mutavaults, no big. Maybe a little big? Alright, it's a little big. Ewok Slayer, thanks for 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, they're in love with the Coco chat. You got 2 lethal threats. You love to see it. You love to see it. Tap, tap, looking for concede. Sign me up. Nissa, not looking to grind here. Last Hope out, I think. Although I guess Last Hope eats their elves and other 1/1s. I'd rather trim Caryatid than Last Hope. I've been trimming Caryatid a lot. I think that's fine. I can go down to 3 Thoughtseize. Probably don't want to draw 2 of those per game. I don't think Languish is good enough here. I think a lot of their things are going to be bigger than this a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, all the event production people are going to be hurting through this. Anyone organizing any type of large event or working in any theaters or venues like that. One of the things that's really important to understand about social media is that social media gives you an avenue to find anecdotal evidence to back up anything you are looking to say or do. So it's important to understand that just because you see an example or multiple examples of something that's awful happening, do not take that to mean that that's the norm of what is going on. It's a good way to become disheartened very quickly, while also not understanding reality. Rotting Regisaur is rough. So that's a threat that doesn't die to Noxious Grasp. Do I play the Swamp and play my 2-drop and just bank on drawing a land next turn that's untapped? I think I'm just supposed to be conservative and play this tapped. You could maybe make the argument that I'm not going to be able to win regardless, though. Yeah. I think maybe I should have held up Noxious Grasp here because of this, and then just hoped to have drawn the land. We'd have missed. Yeah, I don't think it mattered if we were missing. I think even though I would have lost regardless, I think I took the wrong line there. I think the play to win line was play the Swamp and pass, and then hope to draw the land to Murderous Rider the following turn. Hey chat, do you remember a simpler time when the most offensive thing about Pioneer was Land War Elves? Anybody remember that? It seems like I feel like I've aged so much in the last 2 months, both in like what's going on in the world and what's happened with regards to Magic. It feels like a different lifetime. Yeah, remember when Trump potentially starting World War III was going to be the worst thing to happen this year politically? Can I get a build around for Meddling Mage and Thalia? Yeah, definitely. Aggro humans coming up. It is very unlikely that Bernie has a viable path to the Democratic nomination moving forward. As for whether or not Biden can beat Trump, I have no idea. I know I personally am going to show up and vote for Joe Biden in November, but I will not be sending him political donations. I will not be promoting him here on stream. He doesn't represent my values. His redeeming quality is exactly, I'm not Trump. Well, you know, sometimes you're playing a match of Magic for $7 and you never draw a spell and you die. That's just how it goes. Them's the beats. All right, we've never drawn a spell and they have a collected company. Feels bad, man. I guess I trophy the skews, right? Because it's going to be bigger of the two. Odds of them having removal? Yeah, likely. So we're taking a hit for 10 here. In 2004, Fox began their assault on the American people. When they won a court case permitting them to broadcast pretty much anything they want, they changed their motto from the conservative slant on news to fair and balanced to hide their intentions. That's... yeah. Should we save land for Tracker? Yeah, I'll save the 7th land for Tracker, but it's pretty important that I get to 6 lands for this. We're just dead, basically, right? Like, I have to chump block with Kalitas this turn. If we'd have drawn like one more 2 or 3 mana spell in here at some point, or another Fatal Push, we'd have been pretty okay here, but they just get to like slam into their bomb and haste it and smack me here. Pretty dead. Sure. So I have to block here. If I block here, I take 12 and I'm only like getting to 11. I get a zombie token out of all of this, but their board's still huge. I don't think I have any recovery mechanics from here. I suppose I could draw a Murderous Rider, but even that's not really good enough because Steel Leaf Champion. Okay, this lets me not be dead on board to the Steel Leaf Champion. And I can chump block this. Oh, they have Hepshot Oasis, so I am dead. Yeah, JK. LOL. I think there's anything particularly compelling about this archetype. I think my one big piece of feedback is that Sylvan Caryatid felt really silly. I felt like I'd rather just have more mana in my deck. I think having a ramp spell in my Sylvan Advocate deck that doesn't actually put additional lands into play doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, this deck archetype does want extra mana in some situations, but like, it doesn't work with Advocate, it doesn't work with Tracker, it doesn't work with Nissa, so it just feels super out of place. Questing Beast was great. 10 out of 10. Might even play a third Questing Beast. Like, you need to You need to kill people in this format. You can't just mope around to generate card advantage. Nissa's probably better as Questing Beast. Just like having more ways to close the game out quickly. The games we won were on the back of Sylvan Advocate and Questing Beast largely, having a clock to actually close the game. We played an Abzan variation of this in the past that basically splashes white for Shambling Vent and like some sideboard cards, and honestly, that's probably a good choice. I like having the ability to lifelink with my lands. They make it much harder for people to race you. I don't think playing a Boreal Grazer makes sense. I don't think you really need ramp spells in an archetype like this. Like, look at my curve. I think ramping in general is kind of silly. A Boreal Grazer is a card that's card disadvantage in an archetype that doesn't have a lot of card advantage baked into it. So putting yourself down on cards to be up on lands doesn't make a lot of sense in this archetype, I don't think. Hey, at any rate, we played all 5 matches, and we almost got our money back, so it's a lot more successful than most of the Pioneer decks we've played lately. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get everything set up and flipped over to Magic Arena. When I get back, we're going to kick off with some green-white adventures in Standard, and then we're going to roll on into some Historic. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.